passive income community. Thank you for joining my channel. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for liking. Thank you for commenting. I really appreciate the love. I hope we all journey together, and I hope we all become successful together. I love the fact that we do everything together. So, yep, it's another Saturday at 6 o'clock, and as promised, I'm here with updates on next steps. Okay, so I'm going to give you guys a rundown. I might look exhausted because I am. My youngest left for college yesterday, so I had to drive her hours away and drop her off to college. Her journey begins. Although it's sad, we have to be proud that we did amazing jobs as parents, because our children would not be ready to leave home if we did not do an amazing job as parents. So we got to trust our parenting skills and the deep moldings that they left within our children. Okay, so if I look exhausted, that's the reason. Moving, for you guys who know, is no joke. Okay, it was a lot of work, but it was very rewarding once she actually settled and she loved the outcome of her room and how everything looked. And she's journeying on to become a nurse practitioner. So class of 2029, let's go. Yes. Now, as far as we go, picks, I call you guys picks because you guys are my passive income community, and we are doing amazing with our journey. The DMs that I receive from our community is extraordinary. People are working, people are getting gigs, people are getting contracts. All of these things are happening simply because we made a choice to move forward and be successful by having multiple streams of income. And that's because we are putting in the effort and moving with purpose. Now, before I move on to our mission, which is the medical courier, and to give updates as far as that go, I just want to give you guys a nugget. Now, I feel like as powerful people in our children's lives, it is imperative for us to speak this same message to our children. My youngest child is attending college to become a nurse practitioner, and we all know nurse practitioners write prescriptions. So instead of like instilling in her, wow, when you graduate, you know, you'll make great money working at a hospital or working at a practice, I instill in her, you know, let's save money, make sure your credit is great. You know, once you graduate and feel comfortable enough, you can have your own practice, you know, a brick and mortar. Now you're the employer, you're the boss. You get to hire people that you would like to hire. Like, let's make it known that these degrees that these children or young people are acquiring is for them, and the purpose for them to acquire these degrees. And this is if they want to. You know, some people are content with working for an employer, which is fine as well. You know, however, I feel it's important to show your children the difference between working for someone, punching a clock, or having the option for someone to work for them, and they are the boss of their own entity. And let that business or establishment, you know, become multiples, where now you are a brand, and possibly talk franchising. You know, you have to instill in your children the whole entire big thoughts to succeed in life, because the order of life is you will leave this earth before your children, you know, and you want to know before you take your last breath that your children, at least financially in that aspect, will always be in a good position because you made financial freedom be part of their learning curve. Okay, so I just want to put it out there. Now, we are here today, and we are gathered today because we, for one, already discussed HIPAA and certifications. We're totally past that at this point. We are now discussing bigger picture, right? So bigger picture, we discussed earlier, was your website. Now, I want to know, you can leave it in the comments, what you guys consider a professional website, and what services do you use? Professional websites, when you are constructing your business, should be done professionally. And you can do it all yourself. Everything is self-serving. You can find a professional website and do it yourself. I tend to think the freer versions are kind of small time. And when you're starting a business, in my opinion, I think your website should be grasping. Once you open it up, it should be inviting. The color should pop. It should be eye-catching. And the website I used was Wix. And the publishing along with the actual creation of the website came to maybe, I think, a little under $100, which isn't bad to me. Again, I'm new to this whole entire field, so I don't know what's a good deal or bad deal. I only can go according to what my pockets allow, and if something is reasonable to me according to what I have available to spend, I'm gonna articulate it as reasonable or fair. Whereas somebody might say, you paid what? For what? You could have got it for such and such. But we are doing this in real time, guys. I am not sitting around asking a million people what's great pricing for websites. I do research. I like to get feedback from real customers. So I like to look at testimony from people who use the website, and all I have seen from this website, Wix, was great feedback. Of course, you have a few people in there saying what they say, because that's what we do as humans. You're not going to please everyone. But overall, I think the website was pretty reasonable, and I like the progress that's coming along. My website has not yet been published, but I'm going to give you a sneak peek of how it looks, okay? Tell me what you think. So as you can see, this is what I was speaking of earlier. This is the free version. It's called Webador. I'm quite sure we all are familiar with this website. You can build a website for absolutely free using this website, which is not bad. You can see my logo there, D&M Medical Courier Service, LLC. You see the car and my website name. This isn't bad at all. You see what the service I provide, the information about us, and again the services that's provided. Quick about us, all of these things. And if you look, I went as far as doing the entire thing. All the tabs has been filled, right? It has the reliable medical courier tab, and it tells about our services, specimen and laboratory transport, pharmaceutical and medical equipment deliveries, emergency and stat medical deliveries. And you see, okay, founder and CEO. And you see, again, this company, when this was created, etc. I'm going to bring you guys to the next page, the About Us page, because I just want to show you guys that I did the entire website. Okay, so obviously that took time, correct? Yes, we can all agree that took time. Now, this is the same website that I use from information rather, because I already did all the work as I stated, and I carried it over to Wix. Now there's no copy and paste option. Obviously I had to input the information into this different website. However, do you see the difference in the popping of coloring, the detailed information? It was better for me. Now, you guys are probably like, hey, well, the other website wasn't bad. It was not. But I feel like, since I'm operating in New York City, I like the city background. My services are here. And you can see that the information is carried over from one website to the other. I mean, the website isn't finished. It's obviously you still see my publish. I haven't published anything yet, but I just wanted you guys to see exactly what I was referring to when I say professional website. Okay, so this back button isn't really working for me. Yeah, this stuff never works for me. Oh, there it goes. It's just going. So that's the difference. So this makes me happy, and it's all about how you feel about your business, and you get to make those decisions. I made the decision to get this particular website version better because this version made me feel like my mission was being completed. So let's congratulate ourselves for accomplishing the website. We are almost at published, and once published, everyone can look up our organization online and we will officially be up and running. Okay, so I have a few steps left to do as far as pricing and manpower, things of that nature, but it is in progress. As you can see, it's almost there. Okay, so next thing I wanted to discuss is insurance for your company. So although you are an LLC, limited liability company, your limited liability company needs to be insured with liability. So again, I'm looking for multiple companies to see what's best, because these are decisions that you are going to live with. Obviously, you get to change, if you are uncomfortable with someone. I'm not saying you're stuck using one particular company, but once you're on step 10, who wants to go back to step 2 or step 3? You want to proceed and hopefully create new steps, because now you are multiplying in revenue, where now you may need 2 or 3 trucks or 4 and 5 trucks because you are doing so well. So no one want to change their insurance company after they are already in business with an insurance company. So it's what's best for you. So what's best for me, I found that this company, it's called Next. I like them because they are more modern. It wasn't much guessing. I was able again to read customer feedback. I looked into their length of service, and they were fairly reasonable with their pricing. Also, you want a reputable company, of course. And lastly, you want something that will make your life easy. And I think the format of acquiring this company was so digitized. Like everything was just in your face, what you're looking for, what's required of your company, what you need, and it was just like forthcoming. So everything took a matter of maybe less than 25 minutes to occur. And the insurance now has been established. Again, you can look for whatever insurance company you want, but I'm here to tell you your LLC requires you to have liability. You need liability minimum for your insurance. For your company. Okay? So now we have established these steps. Okay, let's just run down what we have established and what we should be up to or what we should be working on. So again, I'm not going to mention certifications because at this point, everyone should be certified. Okay? The next thing you should be working on is your phone number. You should have a business phone number. We discussed that last week. Things that, services that you can use. You should have established an email, a professional email. Again, we discussed that last week. And your professional email, I was explaining that many people say Gmail is not a professional email. I don't know. I've dealt with many companies who had Gmail as the ending of their email, and I have used their company with a Gmail email, but it's about how you feel. It deterred me from using a Gmail, so I got the business mode for Gmail, and now my company ends in .org. So I believe it's important to, fill out how you want your company to be presented, because again, it's going to be like a repertoire. You're going to have to pull information out of the network to gather everything in, because you're going to be swinging in so many ways because there's so much to do. So that's why you just, again, have a checklist and try to check off something day by day or by day, every other day. Who says by day? Sorry. Every other day, or weekly. Whatever merits your life, that's what you do. Okay? So there's no right or wrong way to do something. You're not in competition with anyone. You are doing what's best for you. So if you can only work on something weekly, make sure you work on that something weekly, okay? If you can do something every other day, make sure you do something every day. The next thing on our to-do list is acquiring transportation. So this has been my to-do for the past almost 2 weeks. It's not easy. It's quite challenging, actually. And it's not because you are getting a van. You can finance a van. It's a vehicle. You can finance a vehicle. You can, I prefer finance a vehicle because technically it's yours. So you can construct it how you want. If you want to do new floorings or whatever the case may be to your van, you can do so because it's technically yours, versus if you leasing a vehicle, you are not allowed to reconstruct the van because it's not yours, because it's leased. Technically, it still belongs to the actual place who leased the vehicle to you. But my dilemma with the van is the fact that I wanted the Sprinter van and I wanted to get on with it, right? So I just was going to put the van on my existing insurance company, which is Geico, and, move on with it. However, so I'm looking for a van endlessly, and every Sprinter van that I see, predominantly Mercedes, is the company who rents these vans or sells these vans. I had no clue. So I'm like, wow, you think a Mercedes, so that's a price tag in itself. And then you're thinking, well, who needs a Mercedes worker van? So you're looking for all of these other places, trying to find, said van, and you just end right back up at Mercedes. Long story short, of course, I inquired with Mercedes, and the worker who, the sales rep, who works with Mercedes, gave me a quote on a loaner van, they called it. So the loaner van, I was again flawed with that information, because what is a loaner van? In my understanding, loaner cars are, you take your car to the shop and your car isn't ready yet. So the company gives you a loaner car to drive around until, your car has been completed with work or whatever you're doing or paying for to be done. So when he used the term loaner van, I think he was a little annoyed that I was unaware of that verbiage. He's explaining that essentially the loaner van means the same thing as in a used van or used vehicle. If you were to purchase a car that's not new, it would be a used vehicle. Could have just said used vehicle, but he did not. However, he said the caveat of all of that was I had to get commercial insurance. Why do I need commercial insurance if the company itself does not require me to have a commercial license driving this vehicle? Why am I getting commercial insurance when I do not, or my company is not in use for a commercial vehicle, because I do not have to display the play card that's required when you're carrying biohazardous material of a certain capacity. Of course, as a medical courier company, you are carrying biohazardous material, but your bundle loadage or your bundle load is low, where the play card is not required. Thus, you do not need to be classified as a commercial vehicle. Okay, so he's explaining from his end, because everyone have jobs and bosses and rules to follow. His boss is informing him because the vehicle in which I am purchasing do not have back windows, and I guess according to their entity and bylaws in Mercedes, it allows them to make the buyer buy commercial insurance before they drive off their lot. So you have to have commercial insurance before you drive off their lot. Of course, once you drive off their lot, you can change your insurance back to your regular personal insurance, but to drive off their lot, you need commercial insurance, is what he explained. I'm going to show you guys the vehicle in which we are discussing, okay? So this is the vehicle that we are discussing. We had the loaner van, which was a 2023, and the price for the loaner van was $53,500. So the newer version, in my opinion, which is the 2025, was a few $1,000s more. Not crazy, but an extra $3,000 more. You may as well, in my opinion, go with the newer version of this van. So as you can see, the price is outrageous for $58,900. That's almost a $60,000 car. And you see the features of it. The engine is a 4-cylinder diesel, high output. The weight is great because it's under the commercial insurance weight of 26,000 pounds. It's at 5,000. And these are just like what's included as far as accessory goes. We're not going to go through all of that because I'm kind of not stuck on the price. I think we can literally make that back with our company in a matter of time, whereas we will be owning this van not long after purchasing and actually is up and running for business. My hard stop comes from the commercial insurance. The pricing with commercial insurance in New York City, crazy. So let me show you what I'm speaking of. So Geico gave me a quote. You guys are ready for this quote? So she ran the VIN number for the vehicle. She put in all information. The process of that took maybe 20 minutes. It was a little long, exaggerated application process. And the end result was a down payment of $2,900 with a $1,500 monthly payment in insurance. Now, to be fair, that quote is included, she gave me with liability for my company. However, I have liability with Next, as I discussed already. I have liability with Next for my company already, so I have an existing insurance. So she just gave me that quote, including the liability, thinking that the price would be brought down. So without the liability, the down payment would be $2,700 down and $1,460 monthly in payments. Did I say $1,400? $1,460, yes, monthly payments. Okay, so now you have to take into consideration, you have almost a $60,000 van, your monthly car notes on your van with your monthly insurance tab. So off top, your overhead for your company have to make sense. Can you make that? Yes. But when you are running a company, any company, you want to be profitable. So now you have to pay these off top payments first, because that's what you're supposed to do as a business owner, pay your bills. Okay? So this is the hard stop for me, not totally, but I'm just putting numbers together, and I'm still shopping around for commercial insurance because I need a better quote. So that's where I am in my progress, and that's where we are going to leave off today. Hopefully next Saturday I will tell you, or I can tell you, that my medical courier service is up and running. The Sprinter van has been purchased. The insurance has been solidified. The company is actually up with its first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, and eighth contract, and we are profitable. Hopefully that's the conversation that I'll have next week. But when I know, you'll know. I really want to thank you guys for watching my channel and supporting the PICS community, because we together will make a change in our financial growth. We will do what's best for us and our families and leave legacy behind. Thanks again for watching. I'll see you next Saturday at 6 o'clock. Thanks again. Love you. Bye.